Hi everyone, welcome to day 20 where we've got a cute little octopus to colour. So I definitely want to make this purple. There's not enough purple on this challenge sheet yet, and when I think cartoon octopuses or octopi, I think of purple. So my Prismacolors, my Precious Prismas, have quite a few good purples in there, so we're going to go with those today. And I'm going to start off by doing an initial layer of the lilac. So this is the one that I've got here, and we're just going to do our base layer all over at the body of the octopus. Okay, so that's our base layer done. That's going to be sort of our mid-tone colour, and then we want a bit of a darker one, so we want something like a violet. This is Parma Violet now. Oh sorry, this is lilac. Now we want a violet for our sort of shadow areas, and the shadow areas I think will be sort of, I want to make the highlights around the bulb of the head at the front, and you know, just on the front of the tentacles. So I think that we would have some dark colour around the top of the head here, some shadow. We've got a little bit more room to work with today because the octopus actually sits outside of the box. Oh, there goes the pencil. Let me just sharpen it 1 second. Watch your ears. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, so the octopus sits outside of the box, so we've got a little bit more room to play with today. So I'm just going to put my shadows in place, and I'm thinking we should give him a little smiley face, something like around there. What do you reckon? He looks a little bit scary with just his eyes. So we'll give him a little smiley face, little eyebrows, and yeah, so we'll continue with our shadows, which I think would be at the bottom half here of the tentacle. And just follow that all the way around for each one. So a little bit of shadow there, and this side. So I'm sort of keeping to the left-hand side of each tentacle. That might be a good way to remember which side to do. Keep to the same side when you're doing shading. Now it can turn quite different if you have something like this, which has you know, like a rounded area this side and also this side, and you've got your light source coming from the front. Then you're going to get to the middle, so you're going to flip your shadow. So we're going to do the shadows all along the right hand side of the tentacle. So anything else, I would say keep all of your shadows on the one side all of the time to keep it uniform. But on this, because of the way that he's sat, we're going to flip halfway through. So if you have something that's facing forward, that might be a good way of putting it. Something facing forward and you want to do your shadows, you'll have to flip it halfway through, just to maintain the look of the light source, I think. I don't really know what I'm talking about, to be honest. It's just what I think to do. So that's our sort of shadow areas. Obviously we do want that little mouth in there. Cute little mouth. Now I need sort of like a middle tone. I did say the lilac was going to be the mid-tone. I wonder if we just start off by a bit of a harder pressure lilac right up to our shadows, whether we can stick with just these two pencils and a white pencil. Might be able to do that. Because the Prismas blend so beautifully together, you can afford to miss out a few in-between colours, especially when you're working on a small space like we are now. So I'll just add in a bit of a harder layer of this lilac right up against the violet shadow that we just put down. So all of our shadows have been thickened with this lilac colour. And then I'm just going to do a little bit more of an all over layer of this lilac to make sure that we've definitely got the colour, enough pigment down on the page for us to put white in and still have a purpley look, rather than putting the white over the top of one layer and then it's just too white. Hopefully my ramblings make sense because none of this is planned, it's literally brain to mouth. So hopefully you understand what we're doing. If you do, then you're one step ahead of me because I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Okay, so I did mention about the white. I'm going to grab a white pencil now. So I've got this white Charisma. I don't have a white Prisma. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know if I ran out or what, I can't remember. But I need to get another white Prisma. But I have this white Charisma, which is the OG Prisma colour, as I always like to say. So we can use it knowing that it's going to work well and be nice and opaque for us. So all I'm doing is just filling in the tooth. And just make sure that you've not got too much glare there. That's one thing I always forget to check. So just kind of using this as a burnish. I mean, you could have used a colourless blender. That would have done the same thing. Just thought it might be nice to use the white and give it that silky, milky look. So I think that's pretty good for the first layer. What I would now do is go back in from dark to light and just make sure that we are deepening up those colours. We've got plenty of saturation on there. You could leave it as it was, to be honest, but you know me, I do like to make it look as flat as possible. So that's what I'm doing now, just adding in those same colours. Now that we've plotted all of our shadow and highlight areas, we can afford to be a little bit more comfortable with how much pressure we're using with our colours, because you know, if you did that on the initial layer, you might end up putting them somewhere that you don't want them to be. So it's nice just to plot that and know that it's going to be okay and it's going to be right. If you're like me, and a bit of a perfectionist. And then back in with your lilac to do the same, and you can extend it a little bit this time. Extend it into the white area, blending it in with your violet as you go. Put a little bit of lilac under there for almost like a bottom lip. Not that I think octopus have lips. I don't even know. What do they have? Are they a mollusk? They're a mollusk, right? So what do mollusks have for facial features? Typically, I don't know. Bring that lilac down a little bit on the head there. And that's it really, just, you know, mess about with it until you're happy with the colours and how they're sitting and how they're blended. So I'm just fiddling about with a bit of violet here and there. Making sure that that little mouth is nice and defined. It's almost like an open mouth now, isn't it? Okay. So I'm hoping the eyebrows don't give him an evil kind of look, because that's the last thing I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to make him look happy and innocent. Okay. Because octopuses are quite scary creatures when you think of it. I mean, I know they're quite graceful with how they move, but I wouldn't like to be confronted with one of them, you know, especially a massive one like they have in the depths of the ocean. That would be the end of me, I think. I think I'd just let go. Wouldn't even try and fight them alive. So yeah. So I'm just sort of pulling these up a little bit with a very sharp edge of my pencil. And then using the white to scale it back if I go too far. It's pretty nice. Okay, so for the little suckers, let's do a yellow, because purple and yellow are across from each other on the colour wheel, as we know, and that will look nice and poppy. So I've got my canary yellow. Just going to fill these in. We haven't got any room really to do anything else. Now let's give him some nice bright blue eyes. Here we go. Just filling in, redefining those pupils a little bit. And let's give him more of a white dot there on his eyes, make him look a bit more cartoony. Okay, so I can possibly try and fit on just a little bit of yellowed orange to maybe a half of these suckers. Not really got much room. It's a little bit of difference anyway. Now, background colour. Clearly we want to do water. We have done quite a lot of water background colours on this challenge, but does it even matter at this stage? That's what I'm asking. Do we need to make everything so totally different? Not really. I just can't think of any other colour that it would really be sat against, to be honest. I think pink would be a really, really nice popping colour, but pink, I mean, again, am I just trying to stick to rules that don't exist? Let's just do pink. Let's do pink. So I have got, what have I got here? I've got a processed red. Let's give him a nice pink background. Why not? Why not? I'm really trying to get out of the habit of thinking that there's certain rules that I've got to fit into. And this challenge is actually really helping with that. Because it's not like I'm thinking I've got to make this into a work of art. These are very, very, very simple little doodles, and anything that we can do to them really is going to be good. It's going to improve it. I don't mean that in a bad way, by the way, but I think that any way that we colour these is just going to be fine. So that was the processed red. Now let's do hot pink. There we are, how's that? Let him have a pink background, why not? There we go. So again, hope you've enjoyed this one. I suppose we could do, this is me trying to add and add and add to it, but I suppose we could do a few little violet, where's my violet pencil gone? We could do a few little violet sort of patches on him. I don't know if this is going to work or make it worse. A few little violet sort of dots to give him a bit of skin texture. So I'm doing them quite lightly and in different sizes as well. So that one obviously looks like his nose, so that helps. Has this improved it, or does he just look diseased? I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. There we go. There we go. Why not? All right, so that is definitely it now. I'm not going to mess about with it anymore. And again, hope you've enjoyed it. Let's see what happens on day 21. We've got what looks like a pirate's wheel, ship's wheel. So cool. Thanks very much for watching. See you tomorrow.